Hello and welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast. I hope everyone's keeping well. Today's guest is Niamh McGarry-Gribbin. Niamh is the mind behind the brilliant yet powerful concept of banking time. A community-driven system where people support each other in a kind of modern you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's about building stronger and more connected communities. The goal is to improve care for everybody and paving the way for a more stable future. There's so much more to explore, so let's dive in. Niamh, welcome to the show.
Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
Thank you very much, Chris. It's an honour to be on your show. Thank you.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, but I can assure you the honour is all mine. So, first things first then, what made you come up with this amazing idea?
Well, I actually came across Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu One Small Town project about 12, 13 years ago. And I looked into it and it did resonate with me. But the issue I had is that he has outside investors. And I came up with this idea, same idea, but without outside investors. And my father-in-law, we lived with at the time, and he's a staunch capitalist, always been self-employed and a Tory voter. And, you know, we'd be passing the midnight hour, having a few drinks and what have you. And he'd say to me, okay, Niamh, with your fantastic ideas, you know, and be throwing all these scenarios and ideas at me. And I was having to think on the hoof how to counteract these problems that he'd be throwing at me. And I then realised that I had this sort of complete robust system that would include a healthcare system and a real education system. And I shelved it. And then, of course, 2020 comes along with the madness of COVID and lockdowns.
Yes.
And I was part of an initial group in the Worrall of 6 people. And we were great activists, sending notices of liability out to nursing home managers. And we were threatened with arrest. So the other 5 went underground, got a bit scared. And I thought to myself, I can't sit and do nothing. So I did a meditation and Source told me that I already had the answer and that it was my time banking system. And then next thing, I'm being shown all this paperwork and shown how it all connects. I thank Source. 20 minutes later, I'm sat at my computer printing off all this paperwork. Rang up the other 5 and said to them, you need to come round for, you know, a brew and a chat. So they came round. I showed them the paperwork, showed them how it all works and what it all means. And all 5 of them just looked at me and went, you've got the answer. I went, yes, I know. And that's where it started. And it's really taken off in certain areas around the country, mainly Cornwall and the Isle of Man. Unfortunately, it did fail twice on the World because of personalities and egos. So we've relaunched it and it really is gathering now. And it's becoming quite a success.
Well, I've always said ego is an acronym for edging God out.
Right. That's interesting.
So, yeah. No, well, that's really good. So how many people have you got on board then? Because I'm assuming you've got to have a good amount for it to work.
Yes, for it to work, really, we could do with increasing numbers in the hundreds and thousands. On the Worrall, we amassed 122 people, but that's slowly growing. And I've now networked with the Liverpool Stand in the Park group, Sefton Stand in the Park, and Chester. So we're really launching it now across the wider community through Merseyside and Chester as well.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. But what we haven't actually done for the audience, and that's on my bad, because just backstory for the people watching, I record my intros after I've done the podcast, so I haven't actually given the context to lead this in. So can you please explain to the audience what time banking is?
Yes.
That would be a good start.
Simply, we swap currency for time, and it's to get round the CBDC and the social credit scoring that they want to enforce upon us. And people pledge their knowledge, skills and experience, and also, if they are willing to teach, state the times that they're available, so, you know, we're not harassing people all the time. And They go onto a database. We have an admin team, and then people contact the admin team whenever they need a task or a job or support or a health issue, and the admin team will refer them to three of the people in the area. We have a directory of services of people in the area offering, whichever skills and expertise they have. So everyone has a directory of services, so they know who is offering what in their vicinity. And the admin team will contact three of those people, see who's available when, then go back to the service user, for the want of a better word, give them the three options, who's available when, so they can choose who they prefer to fit in with their time schedule. So admin knows who's going into whose homes and when. So it's a safeguarding procedure, and also to minimize abuse of the system. Anyone who signs up is automatically accredited with 100 hours in their current account. No one can go more than 3 hours in the red unless it's extenuating circumstances. That's to minimize abuse of the system. And for every hour donated to the hub, 5 minutes is accredited for free into their pension account, and 5 minutes is added to the community pot. I come from a nursing background. I was a nurse for 27 years. And it didn't sit right with me that people with long-term health problems would be depleting their pension and current accounts, paying for long-term health care. So the health team get paid from the community pot, and anyone who's willing to teach their skills, they're also paid from the community pot as well. Anyone who takes on a driver's role, they're paid time and a half to account for wear and tear of the vehicle. And if there's any exchange of money for petrol or resources, that's all agreed in advance and passed through the admin team. So there's no one being financially abused, or the system time-wise is being abused. So it's quite a robust sort of self-supporting system, really.
Well, it's very clever. Did it take you long to? Well, I assume you got the main idea from Michael, but did it take you long to figure out the hard bits, to plan it all out nicely, to iron it out?
Well, I can't take the credit for the community pot that pays the health team and tutoring team. There's actually a guy called Paul Stubbs who lives locally who came up with that idea during our initial foundation meetings when we were tweaking it and ironing it out. And it was his suggestion, and we all discussed it. And I think that was a brilliant concept because, as I say, it means that people with long-term health problems aren't depleting their current and pension accounts, so they can still have support with domestic services, or gardening, walking a dog, childcare, whatever they need. So I can't take the credit for the payment of the health and tutoring. That has to go to Paul, but I basically came up with everything else.
Well, that's very good of you. It's a bit more than I could do, and a shout out to Paul as well, of course. So, because of what I do, I couldn't really offer much in a way of a service, but I do music. So for example, if I went and played a 2-hour gig for somebody's party, say, that then what happens then?
Well, those 2 hours would be accredited to you from that person's account. And of course, any driving you've done with your equipment and wear and tear of your equipment, you would be paid time and a half for that. But everyone says the same thing, that they doubt their own ability. And my response to that is, well, two questions I ask. Firstly, do you have any children? And if the answer is no, I say, well, do you have any pets? And if you've nurtured another life force and, into thriving, well, that takes thousands of skills, absolutely thousands. It takes care and empathy for a start. But anyone can wield a brush, paint, can hoover, mop, dust, prune a hedge. It's all these little things that,
So like handyman tasks.
Yes, it's handyman tasks as well as the health team and education. For instance, in my back garden, I've got conifers, and they were really overgrown, blocking the light into my garden. So we have what's called the Blitz team for the gardening team to get people's gardens ready for growing food. So the Blitz team came round in November, locked the trees for me, took about 10, 12 feet off the trees, and then helped me log all the branches and everything. So I've got, firewood for my log
Mm.
burner, and they all logged, pardon the pun, logged their time, and that came off my account. So we had 8 from the Blitz team, and I think it took about 2 weekends, 12 hours a time. So they all took their time off mine and have been accredited with that, plus any driver's time. And I've been accruing my own time because, coming from a nursing background, I also am a Reiki practitioner and into plant and herb based medicine. But I've been a keen gardener since I was 5 years old. So I teach people how to grow food. So that's how I'm amassing my time, by teaching people how to grow food, and also sharing the produce as well that I create and make.
Well, that's awesome. Have you been following Fork the System with the bowler hat farmer?
I'm actually one of Mark's ambassadors. Yes,
Way, well done.
yeah, I'm the Worrall ambassador.
Oh,
Yes,
fantastic. Oh, well, that's really good. Yeah, because Mark's doing amazing things as well. Is
he is.
he really is living the dream.
Yes,
I'm a little bit
yeah.
envious because I'd love to go around the country in a camper van. So, but when you've got kids and you just can't do it. But
Yeah,
no, that
it's
would be
difficult.
lovely. That would be lovely. So, how do we get this to spread then from the Wirral to East Anglia to Cambridgeshire to Northumberland? How do we get it spread out?
Well, I've been sending the basic paperwork and documentation to community groups throughout the country. So they just email me or contact me and ask for the paperwork. It is basic paperwork. And of course, I'm always there available to do Zoom calls and to educate and teach people into the system and how it works. But first of all, once they've got the paperwork, excuse me, the first thing is to set up an admin team. So you need at least 3 people. And then as the numbers grow, obviously the admin team needs to increase as well. And all the admin teams are paid via time banking as well. So you need a coordinator, you need an admin team first off. And then once you've got that admin team working on the same page, pardon the pun, and then everyone knows what they're doing, you can then really roll it out and
Mm.
gather people and the database, the numbers, the members, and the skills and expertise. And from then you develop your directory of services, you know who's got what skills in your area and what they're willing to offer, and if they're willing to teach. And then of course if they've got any healthcare experience or knowledge. So from that, you can set up your own education system that we call a life skills curriculum, and your own health team as well. And when we were really going, before we disbanded with the ego problem, we actually had a 24-hour emergency service with our health team. So anyone could call, someone manning the phones, an experienced healthcare practitioner, and we'd have an assessment process, because of course we know that health is not necessarily manifested from physical ailment. It could be stress, outside stressors. So there'll be a set of questions as to what issues the person's has: financial, gas, water, electricity, what other issues they've got, not just so much the health. So we
Mm.
know then that what needs they have, and can direct them to someone from who's offering services from the domestic services, not just the health team as well. So we could cater for all of their needs and in a holistic manner. And that was proving to be quite a success.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because I think holistic health is really, really important at the moment. I
Yeah.
had an interview with I can't remember who I was talking to now. But I was saying that with the NHS, if I had an issue, I don't think I would trust the service anymore. I had testicular cancer when I was about 27, 28. And I can't fault the service then. It was amazing. But now if I had a twinge, I don't know whether I would trust, which is a horrible position to be in for anyone, but especially with somebody who's had like pre-existing. And so I think the more we can look at other ways, holistic. I love Wim Hof and his breathing techniques to create an alkaline body. I think there's so many incredible different avenues that we could go down. So it's good that you're promoting that as well.
Absolutely, Chris. I mean, I come from a nursing background, as I was trained in the NHS. I was a nurse for 27 years, and it breaks my heart to say that I don't trust the NHS these days. They have helped me in the past. They have been wonderful, with health conditions I've had. But I would be very dubious of going into a hospital these days. I really would. So part of our health team, we've got someone with a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and that's been getting used by quite a few of our members. Someone who's had stage 4 cancer, who unfortunately did get the COVID jabs, but their tumours are shrinking. We do have Reiki practitioners, acupuncturists, reflexologists, aromatherapists. We do have a couple of trained nurses. We did have one doctor who's now moved down to Devon. And at the moment, I'm negotiating with a dentist to see if we can get him on board as well. But we've got lots of people willing to be healthcare assistants and a buddying system, for anyone who's got mental health issues. So it is a robust health system holistically.
No,
So
that's really good.
using natural modalities as well. We've got people with Rife Spooky 2 machines and the terahertz ones as well. So
I'd
yes,
love to have a go on those.
so we're really coming together to provide a holistic health system. And of course, anyone can choose which, mode of healthcare they want, so it's up to the individual as to what suits them best.
No, that's really good. So just to clarify for some of the people that might not fully grasp it. So if, like you mentioned, the dentist, now with the dentist or a plumber, it's the time that you're donating. So if you need a new tap, the person still has to get the new tap, but
Yes.
the plumber will fit it for you. And
Yes.
that's yeah. So you're still paying for anything that's used. It's purely the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
we have talked about possibly having an annual membership fee to get the resources, because obviously for our life skills curriculum, which is the education system, we need pen, paper, computers, books, preferably books. I've been amassing books and collecting books over a few years anyway. So we can't get away from the finances at the moment, but hopefully when the CBDC comes in, people will realize that money's worthless for,
Mm.
we may as well be passing around sweet wrappers, because it's not backed by gold or anything. But I can't see us getting away from money in my lifetime, I have to be honest. But my vision is that sometime in the future that yes, we will have no need for money, but I can't see that happening in my lifetime. So we have spoken about maybe having a membership fee. At the moment, we haven't done anything about it because there's a bit of discourse about that. But we operate as a private members association so that there's no outside influence. But before I
Okay.
set up all this, I sent my affidavit to all powers that be or think that have
The,
authority,
yeah.
including,
Power of
Charles.
attorney and all that.
Yeah. So, and I actually put in there that I have the right to create new systems, including health and education, and that no one has the right to exert their will upon me or stop me in what I'm doing. And I sent that 2.5 years ago. No one rebutted it. So, as we know, it now stands as fact in law. So, I'm really running with it. And as far as I'm concerned, no one can stop me.
No, that's brilliant. It reminds me of a Queen song.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a website where people can come and check you out and learn more and find out more? And I'll leave the link in the video description.
Unfortunately, no, there isn't. Because we set up in lockdown, everyone was a bit paranoid, because we
Hmm.
were all meeting each other and, as we weren't subscribing to the nonsense. Everyone was a bit paranoid and so we're going to have to stay under the radar. But we have been talking about setting up a Facebook page, and putting it out there on social media. But I find that I'm shadow banned a lot on social media because of what I've been saying and my activism.
Yeah. So
We,
you can get a free website. I know, I don't know if they still do it, but Google used to do free websites.
right.
Wait,
I'm not
yeah.
technically minded. I'd have to get one of our tech guys
Mm,
to set that up and look into it. But certainly would help in getting the concept out there and connecting with other communities around the country. Our email addresses Merseyside with a capital M and Wirral capital W and Chester capital C, time banking at proton .me. That's our email address.
okay, that's brilliant. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time. I've really enjoyed talking with you. It's great to see people being so proactive, and it's great to see that there's so many people getting involved and supporting it because that's what we need right now. We need
It is.
definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, Chris. People need to understand that we don't need politics, we don't need government, and really, we don't need money. All we need is each other and to support ourselves, support each other with our own unique skills, knowledge, and experience. And for people to not have that doubt in themselves and to realize that they have got skills to offer. As I say, anyone can, wash a dish, run a hoover around, a mop, so my vision is that we grow in sufficient numbers that we can care for elderly people and people with complex healthcare needs in their own homes without them having to go into hospital or care homes and have to sell their homes for insufficient care. And that is my vision, that we grow in numbers and look after our own in their own homes. And with sufficient numbers of people pledging those skills, it is certainly viable. And I've proven that. In a short space of time with the people who've signed up.
No, yeah. Hats off to you. I'm not wearing one, but yeah, hats off to you because that really is an incredible achievement.
Thank
And
you.
I just really hope that it goes from strength to strength because yeah, we definitely need that. Before we depart, you mentioned creator and you mentioned meditation. And
Yes.
that fascinates me. I've never really been that good at being able to meditate, which is why I've tend to do like the breathing exercises because it's more of a focus thing rather than trying to completely clear your head. How do you go about meditating?
Um, Well, basically, yeah, it's having to shut out the outside noise and go within yourself. And it does take time and practice. The first time I did it, I thought I will never ever achieve this, all the noise in my head. And then I just give myself a minute at a time and then 2 minutes. And now I find I can meditate for over an hour, and go into myself. So find the answers within to any of the issues I have in my life. And just to take that inner peace and calm, because there's a lot of fear porn at the moment, what with climate change and all the nonsense that's going on, different viruses, vaccines, and everything that CBDC and everything that they want to throw at us.
A lot
And
of
it's
noise and distraction.
Yes, yeah. And it's easy to become depressed and overwhelmed with it all. And of course, that's the whole idea, is to lower your vibration. So you need to take 10 minutes away from life, whether it's sitting on your bed at home or take yourself out in nature, on a beach, in a woodland, somewhere where there's no outside distractions, and just sit with yourself and just try and switch off that noise in your head. And that's the hardest bit, is switching the noise off in
Mm.
your head. But just try it for a minute at first and then increase the time slowly. And then somewhere, I don't know where this voice comes from, but you get the answers, from within.
And
I,
is it
I
like
don't
a
know what
feeling? Is it
it,
like a
it is. It,
mm,
it is an intuitive
mm,
thing. For me, it is a voice, um, but it's not my voice, it's a male voice. And as I say, I was shown this paperwork and how it all correlated and corresponded. And I was told that I already had the answers and it was within me. And that's what I believe. If we can switch off that external distraction and that outside noise and go within ourselves, each and every one of us, already has the answers. We already have that knowledge. We've just been programmed to dismiss it and to ignore it from the education system and the society that we've been indoctrinated into.
100%. Well put. Yeah, can't argue with that. No, can't argue that at all. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck with the project, and I hope it continues to flourish and spreads. Let's spread something positive.
Yes. Yep. All we need is love, empathy, care, and each other. And yeah, let's spread that hope and that positivity. And thank you, Chris, for giving me the opportunity to help promote it.
Niamh, it's been my absolute pleasure. And I hope everyone watching this has enjoyed it, learnt from it, and hopefully inspired you. So, yeah, until next time, look after yourselves, enjoy your day, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.